The following presentation is not designed to be used for professional publication, marketing, or profit. It is solely an experimental project for private practice and temporary reference.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please come along and celebrate as we thank God for Mary Carter. Mary Carter.
Hello, may I speak to Mary?
Mary Carter.
We love Mary. We love Mary. Hello, is this Mary? Hello, is this Mary?
10-4, that's affirmative. That's Mary Carter. Mary Carter.
Mine is the human aspect, the third eye, letting you visualize that which cannot be seen otherwise naturally. But be natural, keep it real. Look at me as I look at you, and let's work.
From generation to generation, a call from heaven is made to plant interest in the present life of significant people and their memory of God's mysterious ways and miraculous deliverance from journeys from their past, commonly known as In Those Days.
Those days?
For ages, the power of the interview has always served to be informative while taking many back in time to far places.
How far back you want to go?
In 1939, in a place called Tallulah, Louisiana, Mary Carter was born into God's earthly plan, which now takes the form of gold in the interview.
Those were my favorite. Was hobby. Hobby was drawing and sewing.
I understand in the South there are a lot of electrical storms. How did it affect you and what was it like?
I remember in Louisiana, it was nothing like in California. Lightning make it so bright until it would be frightening in a way. My mother reverence, as she always said, thunder and lightning was God speaking. So we had to sit still, cover the mirrors. They would turn out the lights. We would sit in the same room. But we were blessed. Some people's houses caught on fire and stuff like that. But we were blessed and never did have that.
What were your mother's and father's name?
Well, my father's name was Eddie Lincoln. My mother's name was Viola Jones.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters. My oldest sister name is Julia Littles, and then Deola, because Deola's next to me. Then with the brothers, the oldest brothers was Eddie Jr., Leon, Albert, real name at that time they called him Abraham. Then Willie. Willie is my twin brother. The daughters, one of the girls died when she was a little girl. Her name was Dorothy.
Mary talks about education and women's rights when we return.
Number 1, number 2. Number 2, number 4.
Number 4, number 1.
Number 1. I love sports. Good at baseball, football, you name it, bowling, basketball. Loved it.
What school did you go through?
Madison Elementary. That was the first school I went to when I was a little girl in Louisiana or Tallulah. But then I came to California when I was 7 years old, and the first elementary school I went to was in Alameda, and it was called Haight School, where mostly it was whites. Only 2 black families that was going to Haight School at that elementary was myself, our family, my brother and my sister. Then there was another family, Dickie Patrick.
Who were your best friends?
Well, my best friend, which I still have as a friend, over 50 some years. Her name is Charlesetta. We went through Lowell Junior High. We graduated from climate. I was good in sports, and I got a scholarship at McClimate to San Francisco College. My athletic teacher put my name in, and because I got all my letters and everything, and I was very good, but my father didn't want me to play sports, and he was very strict. He said I couldn't play it after you joined church and got religion, but that's the only reason I did not pursue it, or the teacher did not, follow it up.
So what did you want to become?
When I got out of high school, I went to take a test as a policewoman, and because of my race, I believe, now that's where discrimination came in, but I think as a woman too, a female, they did not let me have it. They said that I was too short, but as you know now, on the police force, there's women all sizes.
Hey, don't drag me! I am coming! Hey. Don't drag me! I know what arrest means! What do you think you're doing? What are you doing?
One time, women couldn't vote. It's hard to even believe, and I think this generation doesn't realize what struggle it was to get this privilege that they have now, that they're not exercising. That was a right that people fought for.
There will be one man, one vote in this country, and there will be a majority government in this country.
Blacks first did not have the right to vote.
We as a people will get to the promised land.
Earlier in my mother's day, their dream was getting out of the South to go to college.
I am still going to school, college now. When I'm ready, I'm coming back home.
There were some black people more well off or got a better education. Some of them even went to France or somewhere else.
The enemy is not skin, it's ignorance. It was ignorance that put us here in the first place. Ignorance because the big tribes of Africa warred against each other or made slaves out of the smaller tribes. Our own black people put us in pens like hogs, destroying entire civilization with rum and beads. And it was still the African, this time the Arabs, who sold us on the block. The white man didn't need guns because we were weak. The French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, they took us because we were ignorant. We were apart from one another. That's why I know that no son or daughter of mine will ever be a nigger.
But it took a long time before the blacks, got the right to vote.
Next, Mary speaks on children, life's values, and the church when we return.
What do I have to do here? I'm sorry I'm late.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Sir. St. John number 2. Number 2, 3, please. St. John? Number 1. St. John number 2? Number 2, St. John. How you doing? I'll see you later, baby.
In the sun. It's the love that you have for one another.
How many children did you want to have?
I wanted to have 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. And I had 3 children. The oldest is 2 girls, Yvette, Vivian, and my youngest child was Virgil. And I just thank God that he gave me the children that he did. Like Virgil says, the stars is not necessarily the greatest achievement. It's the love that you have for one another. My children is there for me. They're hardworking in life so far as what the Lord wants them to do. And their kindness and their love has not gone unnoticed by me. I thank God for Vivian and Virgil, that they have been a part of my life. And I was the instrument in which God gave that opportunity to bring them into the world.
How did you meet your husband? How did you guys develop a relationship?
I met my husband at St. Matthew's Baptist Church in West Oakland. I joined that church when I was 18 years old, and I was going there, and he was one of the teachers, and I became like the secretary of the Sunday school because I always loved Sunday school. I was his protege. Like a help teaching me. We would go over the Sunday school lessons and everything, and that's how I met him.
The genealogy of the last name Carter, which Mary through marriage carries today, can be traced as far back to a plantation in Pineapple, Alabama, where a black slave named Cato Carter was born the son of a beautiful black woman named Zenie Carter and a white man, the kind brother of the slave owner. It is authentically documented that Cato Carter lived in the mansion house and was highly favored, cared for, and untouched, but jeopardized and forfeited his luxuries after being ordered to turn on his own fellow black kind. The following narrative is from an authentic account of that event.
There was a nigga working in the field, and he kept joiking the mules. Master all got mad and he gave me a gun and said, "Cato, go out there and kill that man." I said, "Mr. Orr, please don't tell me that. I ain't never killed nobody and I don't want to." He said, "Cato, you do what I tell you to do." And he meant it. So I go out to the nigga and I say, "You gotta leave this place this minute. And I is too. Cause I supposed to kill you. And I ain't. And Master All, he gonna kill me." So he dropped his rein and we run and we crawled through the fence and we ran away. I hated to go, but today I is an old man, and my hands ain't stained with no blood.
About 3 generations later, Mary Lincoln married Virgil Lee Carter in 1959.
And that's how I met him. By studying the Bible and going to church there. My sister Diola. My sister Diola.
Design.
My sister Diola.
Beauty.
My sister Diola will tell you even more
art design. By Diola Mays.
Magnetic sounds flow as I meditate. My mind finds time to climb far away in space.
Black colleges, you would have to leave Tallulah, where I live, and go to somewhere else to a black college. And they didn't have where whites and black went together.
In 1963, when Martin Luther King Jr. got shot, how did you react? Did you really admire him? Did you feel sad for him?
Well, in 1963, I was a housewife, and I was raising my children, but I admired Martin Luther King because I believe he was really dedicated for the movement for black people.
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So why don't you
listen? Master Ingram, he told us the government was going to give us 40 acres of land and a pair of mules. So why don't you listen? The we didn't get nothing. The we didn't get nothing.
As I got older, I was able to go to Atlanta where he lived, and I realized and saw that he was a short man. I actually was able to see that.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
And I walked through his house and saw his mother and father and the piano he would play and what college he went to. I was able to see where they have his casket.
Only lingering words of those that you heard, who died and dreamed for you to fly like a bird. It was such a nice dream to share, but some has turned his dream smooth into a nightmare. Falling prey.
So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Fire that's burning around it, the torches, it never will grow out. It's just too bad, that they're letting it die and it's not passed on to this generation where they can have pride in themselves.
I have a dream today.
Children often think and wonder what growing up will really be. The grown-ups just keep getting growner, forgetting all their childhood memories. And children never ever worry about tomorrow, what it's gonna bring. The grown-ups are so filled with troubles, they cannot follow Jesus faithfully. Oh, we would be just like they are. We would be all that Jesus wants. If we humble ourselves like the youngest child, we would rise like the morning sun, 'cause they are the ones.
Right down the street. I babysat her granddaughter.
How were your mother and father like, and how were your grandparents? Were they strict or in any way?
I think starting out with was my mother and how she protected us and loved us and sacrificed for us, as well as my dad. I can say my dad in my childhood coming up, because he stayed there. They struggled to make sure we had food on the table. I know you've heard where people said the mother didn't have food or the father didn't have food. They would give the children the food and they would not eat. My mother said that actually happened because she had done it. She would take flour sacks, when you have flour and people throw away the sacks. Well, it was like cotton material. And she would bleach it, wash it, and put it together and make us clothes and stuff like that. So I think my mother and father sacrificed a lot for us that we would survive and have a decent life, as well as a Christian life, because I wouldn't have known about Christ, as of today, if it wasn't for my parents. Because the structure starts in the home. Like I said, the marriage, meaning the husband and wife, the children. And you cannot go into this other building where you come in contact with different personalities in so-called the structure, the church, which is not the church, but is the building where you go worship. Now, if you can come together there in your home with love, where there is truly unity there within that love, you can't go there with all those other different personalities where there's no blood there.
Dear Lord Father, we just thank you, Lord God, for just each and every one gathering here today. We thank you, Lord God, for traveling mercies, most of all. We thank you, Lord God, for just the spirit of thanksgiving. We're thankful, Lord God, for just being here as a family. We thank you, Lord God, for being here as a family and friends. We're thankful, Lord God, for our health and strength. We thank you, Lord God, for just your love, Lord God, and your mercy. We thank you, Lord God, for this food you have us prepared in your name. We thank you, Lord God. We ask for you to just bless it and sanctify it to the glory of Christ Jesus. We thank you, Lord, forevermore. In Jesus' name, amen.
There's one blood coming from the husband and the wife, making the children what the Lord wanted to be. And you cannot go to a building and think that you're worshiping God in the spirit and in truth. You can't do it because you haven't got the structure there at the house.
I can see this young man as he made up in his mind to start back home. His money run out. His friends walked off and left him. His buddies walked off and left him. His girlfriend quit it. He lost all he had. He had got out in his clothes. His hair had got bad.
That's why the churches is all just a place for a meeting place, a social place. Most of it is social, where you praise me, you pat me on the back, I pat you on the back. And if you're not in this group or this clique,
out here in a mean world, don't know where I'm going or where I'm coming. I believe I go back home. One of these days, one of these hours, I'll be back home.
loving God first, in doing what the Lord wants you to do in your home first.
I stay above with what you see. I stay above when you out in the street. I stay above when you can't find a way. I'll be there to help you find a brighter day, brighter day. I stay above when you're not around, when I'm thrown to the ground, I stay above with all my royalties when we grow victorious. I stay above and despite your name calling. I stay above with all my knowledge. I stay above throughout all my heartbroken nights, just to win this. I stay above. I stay above. I stay above. Can't you see? I stay above.
Sickness or whatever it is, they knew exactly what to do. Getting ready for the winter, they would give you castor oil. They would put turpentine on sugar and gave it to you. You didn't like it, but you stayed healthy. Now you're just living on medicine, pills with side effects.
What advice would you give to young people as they grow up?
To do God's will. Making Him first in your life, dedicating your life to the Lord. Bodies and being used by Satan with these tight pants, showing and shaking their behinds and everything, degrading themselves to be seen because they have not got Christ. They have not come to the full Christ so they can come to the fullness of themselves.
Girls would put on a spare dress if they had one, and men would put on a clean shirt. Girls always try to fix up for partying even if they ain't got nothing but a piece of ribbon to tie in their hair. Wasn't none of this sinful dancing where you partner off with man and woman squeezed up close to one another. That's respectable, the slaves did. Shifting round from one partner to another and holding one another out at arm's length.
Once you come to the fullness of Christ, you can love yourself because you have the love of Christ in you. Women lose their virtue by loving themselves as themselves. Then they want to explore their body thinking this is what I get attention. Man will love me. Man will give me something if I got a pretty body. But it isn't in the shape of your body. It's how you keep your body sacred for the Lord. And then he will give you someone to love you for the inside. It's not the appearance. The young girls has nothing to look forward to but themselves. It's because the women are losing sight on what we're here for the glory of God.
In December 2004, on a Sunday evening, a first-time phone call was made from Hot Springs, Arkansas, from Miss Julia Little, born in 1916, and now at age 88, Julia Little, Mary Carter's oldest sister, was led to call Virgil Carter, Mary's son, to share her blessed life, without even knowing of the present making of this documentary of her sister, Mary Carter. Valuable segments of her inspiring words were captured and retrieved for God's making of this work. What's the exact day of your birthday again, Aunt Julia?
December 12th.
I'm gonna have to get out there to Hot Springs. I haven't been there in a while. I don't know. I think I passed through there once with my father, but it'd be nice to get out there and see you.
Yeah, we all a little bit of babies when he come to you. Right in your mama's footsteps. Philip say the same thing. He says marked in his family.
It's marked in the family, yep.
Yeah, they have to follow the Lord because it's marked in the family. And my old great-grandma, she was a warrior, right? Missionary in her time, you know, if they had to get it from the scratch, then they'd get it like these missionaries get it now.
So your great-grandmother, what was her name?
Julia, and I'm named after my great-grandma. Well, she's a native of New Orleans, Louisiana. That's where she was born and raised at. She's half Indian.
Okay.
The daddy had her picture, but in that trunk, I don't know what deal with them did with it. You can look at her picture and tell she's part Indian. That was your great-great-great-grandma. Well, it was my great-grandma. Your mama's great-great. Oh, it's too funny to think about. Your mama was a both generation. You know, well, your mama was the same thing I was. Look like to me, your mama seems like my own child. But she is my sister. I'm just older than, older than old, way older than old. Because I rocked her to sleep. I was right there when she was old. But yeah, I used to help to feed them, help to rock them to sleep.
God bless you, and we'll be praying for you.
I need your prayers, baby. Pray ye one for another. Stay in the shadow of the Almighty.
Thank you for the advice. I will.
Read the 91 Psalm.
It's been a blessing talking to you, and God bless.
Thank you, baby. All right, God bless you too. Stay in the shadow of the Almighty.
Thank God I have not got caught up with material things. So if the Lord says today or tomorrow you come home, I'm ready.
He'll know when to call me. When they call me, I'll be ready.
What was the most miraculous blessing person that you had in that lifetime?
A prayer that I have prayed, this is like a confession. I prayed and I believe if the Lord answered that particular prayer, I believe if I could speak better, I could just soar to high heights. And why it has not been answered is a question that I have to wait for the answer. It's an answer that I know God will do. I can't speak good. I can't talk good. And maybe he'll just say, just go on out. I'll speak for you. And I feel that if I had this ability to do this, that, and then I can't complain because he's blessing me now. He's just blessing me.
You feel much better now that you know that all the things you're going through, you're not alone. Oh no, did it ever occur? Did it ever occur to you? There is nothing that he cannot do. 'Cause when it all seems impossible, that's when it gets just right. For him to show you can make it alright. So come on and just let go. Oh no, you're not alone. No, he knows what you've been going through. He wants to take control. Come on to me. He'll give you rest. So come on. So come on. Come on. He'll give you rest. There is no mountain that you cannot climb now. If you believe it's possible, it's just a matter of time. Lift up your voice. Lift up your voice. Lift up your hands. Lift up your hands and sing these words.
Hi, my name is Virgil Carter. I represent the present-day male offspring of Carters descending from my mother, Mary Carter, along with my son, Virgil Carter. However, I didn't make this documentary because of the last name Carter as much as I did for my own mother's ability to shine and the greatness of her life, which has positively influenced so many others. You have just witnessed not only a great speaker, but one who spoke and shared in such a common, natural, relatable way that it separates her from all others. Her ability to speak in this manner seemed to just lie in just simply sharing all that God had did in her life, as with so many people's lives. Sometimes we try to be too much like others, not recognizing that the things we pray for is right inside of our own present life. Not only did God show forth and display her ability to captivate us, he also displayed a strength which lied in the numbers of many families and relatives which contributed, both small and great, to this work. Today, even at the age of 41, I still experience people who misunderstand and believe that any quality that shows forth itself in my life today is the result of working with them or under them today, not considering the things that have taken place from my past. Even David in the Bible, who fought Goliath, had to testify to them of his experience of being raised in his father's house, tending to his father's sheep, as to the real reason of his faith, his courage, and the using of a slingshot when he denied a sword, even though he was working with a new group of people. See, God may use many people along the way in our life to contribute pieces that he knows that we need to a big puzzle that he's making for our lives. But the first source to nourish, teach, protect, and build a true foundation from birth is our parents. I now would like to say, as I believe I can say for so many others, thank you, Mother, for being careful, considerate, responsible, and obedient to God, not only now, but even in those tender years of my childhood life in which I ignorantly trusted you to do all the right things and lay a foundation of hope, victory, and stability of mind, which I still live by today. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would ask God the next time around, if there was a next time around, give me another set of ears, make me a little taller, make me a little darker, lighter, take away my big toe and give me some even toes. But one thing I would make sure that God did do again by request is please give me the same mother that you did the first time. I love you, Mom.